Good morning, class. Today I am back again with a new chapter in English literature, alright, and the name of the chapter is Footloose in Agra. So this chapter is written by Ruskin Bond, alright, who is one of India's most loved children's writers, and he was born to British parents and brought up in India. He studied in boarding schools in Mussoorie and in Shimla. He admits to be very shy as a child. A prolific writer, he has penned over 300 short stories, essays, novels, and children's books. Films and TV series have been made on his works. He has won many awards, including the Padma Shri and the Sahitya Academy Award. So children, so that is about Ruskin Bond, the author. Alright, he is an Indian author, but he was born to British parents. So in this chapter, we find that this author has travelled from Delhi to Agra, alright, and he finds that Agra is small town and which is full of people, alright, and they have a tradition of flying kites. So while he is in that rickshaw, he finds or he sees different kinds of scenery, he sees different kinds of things, and he is very, very eager to know the answers from this rickshaw puller. So all of us, we know that in Agra we have the famous monument, the Taj Mahal, which is built by Shah Jahan, isn't it? So most of you must have seen the Taj Mahal. If not in reality, I hope you'll have seen at least in the pictures, in the books, in the films and all. So I am starting from page 40 and I will continue till page 42, that is half of the chapter. And I will be sending you the PDF of this chapter content. Those who do not have textbooks, you can please refer to the PDF content. Alright. So now I am starting from page 40. So let us read this description of the city of Agra through the eyes of an avid traveller. So let's look at the city of Agra through the eyes of an avid traveller. That traveller is the narrator or the author Ruskin Bond. The cycle rickshaw is the best way of getting about Agra. So the best way to travel to Agra in and around the city is by a rickshaw. Its smooth gliding motion and leisurely rate of progress are in keeping with the pace of life in this old world city. Leisurely means without hurrying. You don't have to be in a hurry to look around the city, right? You can just travel leisurely in a taking your own time in that rickshaw. The rickshaw man juggles his way through the crowded bazaars. So when this rickshaw puller is pulling the rickshaw, he has to meet many difficulties. There are crowded bazaars, he has to exchange insults with Tonga drivers, he has to fight with the Tonga drivers, he has to have a conversation with them, alright, pedestrians and other cyclists. But once on the broad mall or Taj road, his curves change to carefree song and he freewheels along the tree-lined avenues. So when he is in the city, in that crowded place, he has to argue, he has to do everything there. But as soon as he moves out, right, towards the Taj Mahal road, he is very, very carefree, he is very, very free because that road is free, there is less crowd. So he can sing a song, he can pull his rickshaw nicely. Old colonial style bungalows still stand in large compounds, shades by people, banyan and jamun trees. So while you are crossing through that Mall Road or the Taj Road, you can see old bungalows, you can see large compounds, you can see shades of people, banyan and jamun trees. So when you move towards the Taj Mahal, the roads there is full of trees, alright, less number of crowds. And that's why the cycle puller or this rickshaw puller is very, very happy. I hope you all are understanding. Okay. So now looking up, I notice a number of bright paper kites that flutter deep and serve in the cloudless sky. So you can see in the picture, the author is sitting in the rickshaw, and when he looks up, he finds or he sees different colors of beautiful kites flying. I cannot recall seeing so many kites before. So he does not recall, he does not remember that he has seen so many kites before. Is it a festival today? I ask. So he asks that rickshaw puller whether it is a kind of festival today. No, Sahib, says the rickshaw man, not even a holiday. So he says that it is not a holiday, neither it is any festival. Then why so many kites? So he asked the rickshaw man, saying why there are so many kites. He does not even bother to look up. So the rickshaw puller is used to that kite flying. Right, so he does not even bother to look up at the sky and see beautiful kites. You can see kites every day, Sahib. So he tells him that you can see kites every day. I don't see them in Delhi. So the author has come from Delhi. So he says that he does not see such kinds of kites in Delhi. But Delhi is a busy place. So he says again, he explains that Delhi is supposed to be a very busy place. In Agra, people still fly kites. So he says that in Agra, people still fly kites. There are kite flying competitions every Sunday, and heavy bets are sometimes placed on the outcome. So the rickshaw puller gives information saying that every Sunday they have kite flying competitions and they also play bet on them. As we near the city, I notice kites stuck in trees or dangling from electric wires, but there are always others soaring up to take their place. So while he is moving towards the city, he can see some kites stuck in the trees and some dangling in the wires. I asked the rickshaw man to tell me something about the kite flyers and the kite makers, but the subject bores him. So he asks the man, he asks this rickshaw man to tell him something about the kite flyers and the kite makers, but the subject bores him. That means the rickshaw puller is not interested to tell anything about the kite makers and the kite flyers. You had better see the Taj today, Sahib. So he tells that it's better to see the Taj Mahal today. All right, take me to it. I can lunch afterwards. So he says that, okay, you can take me to the Taj Mahal and I can have my lunch later. It is difficult to view the Taj at noon. So he says that during the lunch time or during the afternoon, it is difficult to see the Taj Mahal properly. The sun strikes the white marble and there is a great dazzle of reflected light. So he says that the sun strikes, the sun rays fall on the Taj Mahal, and because of the reflected light, you will not be able to see the Taj Mahal. I stand there with averted eyes. So the author, he stands there and he tries to look around, looking at everything, the formal gardens, the surrounding walls of red sandstone, the winding river, everything except the monument I have come to see. So when he is standing there, he sees everything around him. But he has yet to see the monument which he has come to see. He has not yet seen the Taj Mahal. It is there, of course, very solid and real, perfectly preserved with every jade, jasper or lapis lazuli playing its part in the overall design. And after a while, I can shade my eyes and take in a victim of shimmering white marble. So he finds or he thinks that the Taj Mahal is made up of precious stones. Jade, jasper, lapis lazuli, those are all precious stones. I can shade my eyes and take in a vision of shimmering white marble. The light rises in waves from the shivering paving stones, and the squares of black and white marble create an effect of running water. Inside the chamber, it is cool and dark. So he gets into the Taj Mahal and he finds that inside it is very cool and it is dark, but rather musty, and I have no time in hurrying out into the sunlight. So when he goes inside the Taj Mahal, he finds it very dark and it was rusty, alright, and it was very, very cool. So he was in a hurry to come out of the Taj Mahal and to see the sunlight again. So I have explained till page 42, alright, and I will send you the PDF. Please go through it and read till page 42, and I will continue in the next class. Till then, take care and be safe. Thank you.